Today we are privileged to have a story of one of us, a young man who has seen it all, a young man who has struggled through the life. I want to read the story and we want to tell everyone, silence is not part of you. Here at Voices Unheard, we listen and we don't judge. Let's start the story. Dear Voices Unheard, I don't remember my father's face. I remember my mother's back. Bent, always moving. Always carrying something heavier than a sack of meat. In our house, silence did most of the talking. Hunger knocked often. Hope knocked quietly. I grew up where school was not just about books. It was about fees. From the first day, I wore an oversized uniform. I knew education was something we chased, not something we owned. My mother raised me alone. She washed clothes for people who never learned her name. She sold vegetables by the roadside under a sun which showed no mercy. Every term, the same conversation returned like a bad dream. Fees balances, deadlines, and head teachers shaking their heads. Before we continue with the story, all I want to tell you today, and all I want you to hear, is a hard beginning is not a life sentence. You may have started with less, you may have started with less support, you may have started with less finances, you may have started with less certainty. But all I can tell you, you're not less capable. You have the strength, you have all that takes to go for it. Sometimes the strongest people are produced by the harshest conditions. Sometimes even diamond is not conformed by comfort. It is conformed under pressure. So let's continue. Sometimes I was sent home. Other times I stayed in class pretending not to hear my name being called during assembly. Shame became a familiar friend. Still I read. I believed that if I worked hard enough, school would save us. Class 8 came like a storm. KCPE felt like a final verdict on my life. I sat for those exams with pen and borrowed confidence. When the results came, I had passed well. Well enough to be awarded the Wings to Fly scholarship. You can feel the inspiration he had. You can feel the motivation he had. He passed. He fought it to the end and he passed. He wanted to go to a good school. But sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes life does not allow. Circumstances does not allow. But that doesn't mean that your story is an end. Up until you are still breathing, your story has to continue. You have to fight for it. You have to fight for the survival. Let's continue. People clapped. Teachers smiled differently. For the first time, I felt chosen. This is a person who has never been chosen by any person. Who everybody he feels like has abandoned him. Not life. Sometimes I know he would sit down and ask God questions. I know it's like, God, why me? But for this time, he felt chosen. He felt, you know what? This time at least people have recognized me. People have seen my real capability. He had started seeing, now people will respect me. People will now know who am I. But it was a relief for him. I thought that was the turning point. I thought the suffering would pause and let me breathe. It didn't. My mother did not celebrate. She did not let me enjoy the victory. Instead, she packed my things quietly and told me we were traveling. I imagined a good school, maybe even a town with paved roads. We ended up in a rural place where the earth was red and the nights were cold. A school hidden between hills. No explanation, no goodbye. She left me there, just like that. I waited for days, then weeks, thinking she would return. She never did. I was taken in by a family in the area. The breadwinner was disabled, moving slowly with the help of worn-out clutches. They had little, yet they shared everything. Food, space, kindness. It was happy inside there. There was joy. And we learned how to school But the scholarship that was meant to lift me felt distant, almost twisted. Sometimes our parents make a decision where we can never understand it. Sometimes we will judge, sometimes we will be harsh on them. But on this case, you can see the mother. How could let her celebrate the win? Because she knew that where we are going now, the future is about to get harder. Her mother had to make a hard decision, had to make a decision of giving up his own son for him to study, because she had no option and she had no plans for him to study. All she was to do is to let the son go and be taken by another family. But unfortunately, the family also was not well able. You can see the breadwinner of the family also had crutches. They struggled. But at least this time, the person felt chosen. The person felt, you know what, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right audience. I'm in the right community. I'm in the right family. He enjoyed. Sometimes the hardships doesn't matter. Sometimes the little joy that one gets is the one that matters. Let's continue. High school was survival. I learned resilience in silence. I learned how to swallow pain and still answer questions in class. I watched other students go home during visiting days, and I stayed behind pretending I liked the quiet. I did not like it. I did not like staying in school. I did not like staying where I was. I missed home. I missed my parent. I missed her. But I could not do anything. I had to study. I had to finish the 4 years. I had to make it better for her. Sometimes the sacrifice matters. I worked hard because failure was not an option I couldn't afford. When KCSE came, I gave it everything I had left. I passed, not perfectly well, but well enough to dream again. My dreams were great. Today, I want to tell you something. Sometimes life does not start on an equal ground. Some people start with support, others start with stability, others start with open doors, others start with opportunity, others start with rich uncles, but others begin in silence, others begin in pain, others begin in traumas. But all I can tell you, sometimes never confuse a humble beginning with a limited future. Your circumstances may slow you down, but they don't have the authority to stop you. Understand this. Sometimes life is not a race. Sometimes you may feel the pressure, but all I can tell you is life is not a race. We will get it there. When our time is right, we will get the right portion. We will not feel pressured by the achievement of others. We will not pressured by the progress of others. Sometimes the progress of others may look easier. Sometimes our victories may take longer because they are building a stronger version of us. They are building a stronger, greater responsibility of us. Let's continue. But dreams don't pay fees. After Form 4, life hit harder. There was no money for university, no relatives stepping in, no miracle call. I watched as my classmates joined campus while I stayed behind, holding my certificate like a passport to a country I could not have. You can imagine like the period before joining campus, him meeting his friends, him meeting his classmates, and all they can discuss is, which university have you gone? What course are you taking in? What course are you studying? And all he could answer is, for now, I am not going. It's painful. It's hard. But all I can tell you, resilience builds character. Let's continue. So I hustled. I did anything legal that could earn me a coin. Construction sites, carrying goods in the market, night shifts that drained my body. I saved every shilling. I skipped meals. I told myself it was temporary because I knew once I could enter into the university, my future was secured. 2 years passed like that. 2 long years of watching life move while I stood still. No achievements, no car to show, no house to show, no family, no great achievement to show. Only me, my mjengo, my clothes of mjengo, only me carrying goods, being a beba in the market. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard, guys. It's hard. For him, it's hard. And all I can pray is, wherever he is, he found life and life is really on him. My mother did not. Let's continue. Finally a chance. This is the breakthrough. This is the lunch. After all the struggle of the 2 years, finally, he is entering the university. Let's continue. I was admitted to campus. Walking into the university felt unreal. I was older than most of the students, but that was not my disturbance. Tired in a way sleep could not fix. Even then, the struggle did not end. Rent, food, books, every basic need became a daily negotiation. Some days I attended lectures on an empty stomach. Some nights I chose between buying supper or printing notes. Sometimes I remember I was in the house and all I could have is a 10 shilling and I could not be able to afford supper. All I can do is take a stroll, walk in the evening and then come back and sleep because all I knew is when I was tired I could sleep. You can imagine sometimes the campus life of borrowing 10 but you don't have somebody to borrow, you don't have somebody to support you, sometimes work you don't have, sometimes it's hard, but he made sure he went through it. Still I stayed because I had come too far to quit. My voice has been quiet for a long time. This story is not about blaming my mother or glorifying suffering. It's about being seen. It's about the many boys like me whose potential almost disappears between poverty and silence. I'm still here. I'm still pushing, still hoping that one day this struggle will mean something. This is my voice, and for once, it deserves to be heard. This is a story of a young person mwenye alipitia. He had a lot going on. He had a lot. And all I can tell you, don't suffer in silence. Silence sometimes is not the solution. Strength is not isolation. Speak your story, ask for guidance. And we, as the voices unheard, we are here to listen to your story. We are here to give you a platform where you can give your voice to be heard. Accept help when it comes. Sometimes people who change your life are not the ones you expect. This is the voice unheard.